Tonight on Safety Optional, RC Gusto and I strike out working on my Jeep. We solve one problem and find three more. Hey guys, I'm Evan and this is Safety Optional, and today I'm working on my Jeep Cherokee again. If you watch my other two videos, you've kind of gotten an intro about this Jeep and know a little bit about it, and you see me put a new fuel pump in it and put the fuel tank back in it. You'll remember this thing had some bad gas that had made it quit running, and so today I'm going to go through it and try to see if I can get it started. Because I'm not sure the gas was the problem with this, I'm going to take my time and go through methodically and make sure there's nothing else wrong with this engine before I try to start it. I've already got a new battery to put in it, and I've gone through and pulled a couple spark plugs and checked to make sure that there's no corrosion or anything on them. Alright, I'm going to use the bolt on the front of the crank there to turn the engine over by hand, make sure it spins freely. Alright, I'm able to turn with a ratchet, which means all the pistons are moving up and down fine in the cylinders. Everything's rotating fine here. I can hear a little bit of a belt squeak up there. I'm not too concerned about that though. Alright, before I put these spark plugs back in, I'm going to put some anti-seize on the thread. Just a little dab. But that's part of the reason why they came out so darn easy. Kind of see there, just a little dab of anti-seize. This bad boy needs fresh oil if we're going to run it. And one thing to note is pouring the oil in the top of this will not lubricate the engine sufficiently just to go and fire it up. All the oil that lubricates all the parts in here has to be pumped up through the oil pump, through all the oil galleries, and then it can properly lubricate all the parts. So just dumping oil in the top of this is not going to be sufficient to lubricate it. What we're going to have to do is put the oil in, fill the oil pan, and then I'm going to disconnect the fuel pump and the coil, and we're going to crank this thing over a little bit to generate some oil pressure. We got a lot of steps before we get to that, but I do want to go ahead and put fresh oil in it. Alright, so it looks like I've got some other issues here. We'll have to go through some more diagnosis this weekend and do the whole fuel spark check here and see why it's not firing off. Oh, heck yeah. So, I'm picking up this video now. It's been a couple weeks since I started on this. I brought in the big guns. I got RC Gusto here helping me tonight. You may remember RC Gusto from some of my other videos. What you may not know is that he helped me put this stroker motor back in, pull it and put it back in this Jeep some 15, 16 years ago. But so tonight he's going to help me resurrect it.
That's right.
This is the new fuel pressure sending unit.
Right.
These are all the injectors.
Right.
Maybe we pull the injectors and clean them.
Well, let's.
While we check for spark.
Well, why don't we? Can we take the rail off and raise it up and make sure that we're actually spraying fuel?
What do we do to catch it?
Put it in a water bottle.
6 of them?
Yeah.
Why don't we just check it for spark first?
Okay.
We'll just pick the plug, it's easier. Like this.
We're going to have to check every one of them for spark, though.
Well, if we get one spark, that's a good indication.
It's not that bad. I mean, there's carbon, but it's not fouled, it doesn't look like.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and clip that one in. I guess you should get in and start.
Crank it.
No, I'm not seeing a spark. Try a different plug.
You smelling gas out of there?
New spark plug. Alright, no spark. Alright, so I'm wondering now if it's not the crankshaft position sensor that would cause a no spark condition.
Okay. Well, let's think about also, we've got
so hang on,
distributor cap, you clean that, everything look okay in there, contacts look
check
okay?
that, yeah.
Okay.
It could be the coil.
Coil, where's the coil?
Right here's the coil.
Okay, so do you want to go get a new coil?
No, let's
that shouldn't have gone bad.
Alright, for educational purposes here for the video, this is a crankshaft position sensor, and this little beauty supposedly when it goes bad creates a no start condition. This connects back up there on the back, and this little beauty sits on the dadgum bell housing where it can read the flywheel. To get to it, you have to get like 20 extensions and lay up underneath the Jeep and reach up with just the right socket and loosen it from the back of the bell housing.
Okay.
That's what it looks like.
Okay.
That's what we're going to try changing. Since we've got it here.
I got skinny arms if you want
Let's
me to
see.
do the crawl.
So I knew that was a problem when we rebuilt this motor back in 2001.
2001.
And we changed it preemptively when the motor was out and it was easy to get to. Now, not so easy. So let's go change it. All right, this looking here at the transmission, here's the exhaust, front drive shaft. Way up in here, right there, that is the crankshaft position sensor, or the crank position sensor. And that bad boy has to come out. As you can see, you can't just put a ratchet on it. So we're gonna have to do the 50 extension tango here to get it out of there. And then you can see the wire for it runs up here and just hanging up by the header. Hopefully you can see that. Hopefully it's coming in on the video. All right, you can see the wire there, but anyway, that bad boy's got to come out, and I'm gonna leave it plugged in until I get the new sensor up here. That way I don't lose the end of it.
Yeah, the wire's frayed.
Is it?
Yeah.
I can't see nothing.
Hang on. Yeah, the wire is broken, Evan.
The wire is broken.
The wire is broken. This right here.
Hang on. Holy crap. Well, that's my problem right there.
Yeah. There.
Well, that's,
Right here.
as they say, here's your problem. There's your problem.
Right there.
That thing down inside there is flat out broken.
Look, right here you can see a scorch mark on your header where it's burnt.
Ah, well, there's the problem.
Yep.
So we're going to have to zip tie that turkey out of the way of the header.
See, sometimes it takes two people to figure out one man's problem.
Well, you know, it's one of those deals where you stare at something day in and day out,
You can't figure that
and
out.
you can't see the obvious.
That's right.
So,
Well, this is gonna be easy then. Let's get it done.
well, let's hope this is the fix. We'll go ahead and do the tune-up with the spark plugs and everything anyway.
Yeah, definitely. 11 mil, I got it.
11 millimeter.
Yep.
There you go.
Okay, now I'm gonna start getting the other one out.
Can you get to the other one?
Maybe. If you can't see there, I have located and I'm unbolting. I've got a couple of wobble extensions so
Here, let me take the camera off your head.
they will make that turn. It's just kind of a little hairy turn. First bolt. Second.
Oh, there we go. That's the view right there.
Yeah, okay. So that is a tight spot right there, for sure. Second bolt is out.
Yep, that's a great view from right there.
Okay.
That is a pain. So you pull that sensor, kind of, does it come up?
It comes up and out.
Up and out.
All right, new one.
Okay, let me grab the brand new one. Okay, so here's where it connects in. I'm gonna pop the old one off. Let it drop down to RC Gusto there. And plug the new one in right here. Click. Now, feed it down there.
Okay.
All right, moving back around to down below.
So here's what we're looking at. This is the old one. It was sitting up in here, and the cable was sitting up against the header pipe, and you see it's burned through. So there's the no spark
There's
problem.
your problem
and you
right
see
there.
that
Oh yeah.
yeah, it's completely burnt through. So that'll never work. So it's short. There's that.
All right.
I'll get the new one in if I can. It was all by feel.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's just nigh on impossible to get up in there to that thing.
It is in position. First bolt right here. Start it by hand here.
Yeah, so if you ever have your engine out of your Jeep, change this sensor.
New one's plugged in already.
Oh yeah, look at that. Oh heck yeah.
There we go. Man, it's 100% by feel. It doesn't need a ton of torque on it.
No, it really doesn't.
Just enough to not rattle out.
Yeah, just don't tighten it the way the Pet Boys does. You know, tighten it until it starts to loosen again and then another half turn.
Yeah. Okay, we're good.
Are we?
Yep, it
Are
is
we
in.
good?
It is in position, rock solid.
Are we good, Gusto?
We are good.
All right.
I see what you did there, my friend, and I'm happy about it. One success.
So yeah, that's one down. All right. While we're here,
Yeah, let's go ahead and
let's
change
do the
spark
plugs.
plugs.
Yeah, while we're here.
We should do everything that we bought first.
Yeah.
And then we'll fire
So, old plug, dirty, funky, crusty. We'll go ahead and change them. We went ahead and bought them. Let's new measure up. So the oil pressure sending unit that I changed last night, that I'll show you guys, was the wrong one, because the old one was showing the needle on 0. I put that one on there, hit the key, and the needle now shows max oil pressure the whole time.
Oh yeah. Oh, so you just
I modified it to work
adapted
with this other one. That just goes to show you it's Summit Racing. Yeah, they don't know what they're talking about.
the wrong unit.
That stresses me a little bit.
That there's no oil on it.
Well, worrying about oil pressure, because I don't want to just jack everything, you know, score the crap out of the cylinder walls. Fortunately, it's got plenty of extra length there.
That's what she said.
Is it on there?
It's on.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so we're gonna go back in with just a plain old stock NGK spark plug, and there's enough anti-seize left in those holes from the last time when I pulled them out and then put them back in that I'm highly confident that we don't need to put any anti-seize on spark plugs. Yep, this isn't the first time you've changed spark plugs on this thing. Is that long enough extension?
Should be.
Yeah, this, I won't ever forget the time that we did tune-up on your Z and on this Jeep, and we did brakes on your Z, and then forgot to tighten the lug nuts on one of the wheels. You had to stop on your way home, tighten it.
Well, I could only tighten one of them because it had stripped out the threads.
I don't remember that part of the story.
I had
Wow.
to take it in, have new bolts put in.
Plugs are so easy to change on this thing.
Something we took for granted back in the day, wasn't it?
I know. I couldn't even imagine changing plugs on my Infinity. I don't even know where they are. You can't see anything underneath the hood of that thing. Well, they don't look bad. So, one of my favorite channels I've said before is Finnegan's Garage and then Roadkill. Anyway, he's got like 4 videos on YouTube where he said, all right, I'm going to show you guys how to read spark plugs. And like every time he's like, well, I didn't get around to showing you how to read spark plugs tonight, so I'll get to that in a later video. So I'm still wondering how to read spark plugs.
One of my I say every time I hear the word prop wash.
Are you going backwards or forwards?
No,
I'm here to backseat drive for you.
Yeah. Every time I hear the words prop wash, I think of my buddy Josh. You know Josh from Westminster. When he was working at that FBO.
They sent him to go pick up a gallon of prop wash.
go get a gallon of prop wash.
Did he fall for it?
Oh yeah. He looked all over the place, couldn't find the prop wash.
You know, construction, the deal is you like tell a guy to go pick up a box of toenails. We got a toenail on all these forums here. You don't need to go pick up a box of toenails. I'm just gonna sit here and drink beer while you work on my Jeep.
That's fine, man. It's been too long since I've worked on this thing.
You like my bypass? My radiator, my heater core bypass?
I was noticing that. That's nice.
Yeah, that's custom.
No.
Let's check for spark one more time. Yep, she's definitely sparking. One problem resolved.
Okay, we got Got spark.
So now we have spark. So now we need fuel.
You have pressure to this, right? You had pressure here.
Yeah, if you press that little Schrader valve there, see the little Schrader valve right there? Gently press that with your finger. Just use your finger and should squirt it.
Yeah, you were getting gas.
Alright, so we just tried to start it. It's still not starting. It's got spark though. I took the spark plug out, plugged it in the wire, held it up against a grounded bolt here on the cylinder head, and I could see the spark jumping. So I know it's getting spark now. And we know we've got fuel pressure up here, so we need to check the fuel injectors down here. And those are those bad boys right down here. So to do that, we got to pull all this crap off, pull the fuel rail.
I don't know where
There's a trick to it. So the end of the wire is right back here. So if you roll it around back there behind it like that, you can kind of. The thing is, you got to be real careful not to
break off that clip.
Break that clip.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see about.
Let's take these caps
see if these
off.
injectors.
Make sure they're not fouled.
Go. No, stop. You're leaking at your supply line. It's got fuel all the way through it, but there's nothing coming out of these jets.
Hey, let's do this. Yeah, can I probe it? Yeah, I can. All right, so I want you to go in there and turn it. Hang on, let me make sure I got everything clear of the dadgum belt here. And for the viewers out there, let me set the multimeter where we can see what she's doing. Okay. So you can see there, barely over my hand, that it was definitely getting voltage. So we know we're getting voltage. We know we don't have a wiring problem now. Looks like it's the fuel injectors, probably. So next step, I'll probably go ahead and get new fuel injectors, and at the same time get new O-rings. Anyway, I guess we'll close it out on that bad news.
And on that bombshell.
All right, guys. So over the past several nights, I've been working on this, chasing problems, trying to get it to start. Just to summarize, first, I mean, it cranked but wouldn't fire off. So we looked for spark. Didn't have a spark. Chased that to the crank position sensor that had been scorched on the my magnificent Borla exhaust header. Burned through it, so it was causing a no spark condition. We solved that by putting in a new crank position sensor, and then we checked it and we did confirm that we've got spark. Tried to start it, still won't start. So back to my other suspicion that it is a fuel problem, probably related to the bad gas that this thing had for so long. So we went through, we cleaned all the fuel injectors, pulled the fuel rail, cleaned them all, and then hooked them back up, try to see if they're squirting. No squirty. In the process, we realized that we've marred up some of the O-rings for the fuel line that I replaced the other night, so we're going to have to chase those down. But we did pull one of the wires and check the voltage at the fuel injector. It is getting a signal to pulse. So what I'm about to do now to fix this is I'm going to order some new O-rings for the fuel lines, and I'm going to order new fuel injectors, which sucks, but I got to do it. And the crappy thing about that for this Jeep is that with the stroker, it takes Mustang Cobra fuel injectors. So I'm going to close with that tonight. Thanks so much to my special guest, RC Gusto, for helping out. Midnight Mechanics, as we used to call ourselves, were definitely in effect tonight. And when we get those parts back together, I'll see you in the next video.